moving on.
And now, Eric, we do have Jen on the call who's able to cover some of this.
Excellent, Jen. Tell us all about it.
All right, so recruitment, I know a lot of PACs are looking to rebuild after a COVID year. So this summer is a great time to start on recruiting. The first thing that you guys want to do is make sure that everything's up to date. So a lot of us may have updated things based on regulation changes for COVID, so it might be time to switch some of that around. Check out your PAC's beascout.org pin. So beascout.org is where someone goes if they're looking to become a Cub Scout and they know nothing about it. They type in their zip code and they find the PACs that are in the area. So you want to make sure that the information about your PAC is current and the contact information for your PAC is current as well there. There's a handy dandy video about how to update it. So go and check it. Anyone can check it. You can all go to that website and type in your zip code and find your PAC and make sure that it is current. Only your key 3 can fix it, but you can all check it and then poke at them. Also, if you haven't seen this before, we have a join page on the Long Beach BSA website. So if you go to that page, it's got all of the PACs that are currently active, along with their contact info, their meeting dates, as well as what summer activities they're doing. So check that out and make sure that that's all current. Says we will be sending people to that site and saying this, we've got a ton of PACs here in Long Beach Council. So pick the one that you're looking for. And then your own website and social media. So make sure that those have been touched in a while, upload some photos of things that you've done. If you're doing events, especially on Facebook, we recommend creating individual events because those will show up in people's feeds. Pin your summer calendar or your next event or just some contact information to the top of Facebook, or put it in your Instagram bio so that way people can find you really quickly. And if you have people going on vacation, make sure that you have a coverage plan for any emails or phone numbers or social media that you have posted out there so that it doesn't go dormant and people go waiting and they think that you've fallen off the face of the planet. Also, advertise, 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 right? We got to make sure that people know what we're doing. You have to say it more than you feel comfortable with and keep talking about it, talking about it, talking about it. So the BSA Brand Center, if you've never been there, there's a link to the Brand Center. They've updated it with all kinds of new photos and videos. They've got social media posts. They've got flyer templates. They've got email templates. It's Cubs and Scouts and venturing and crews. So you can go there and get everything that you need. There are free yard signs at the council office. You just have to ask Mark or Sandy, I'm assuming, to get your hands on some. And so you can get those, post those in your front yards or your schools. There's free flyer printing at the council office. You just have to email it over and they will print those out for you. And if you haven't looked at peer-to-peer cards, they're basically little business cards that are like, hey, we invite you to our next event. And these are awesome for your families to have. So when they're out at the park or when they're in karate class or whatever they're doing, and somebody mentions like, oh, Scouts is fun, you can literally hand them a card and be like, oh, here's all our contact info and the next thing that we're doing. That way you don't kind of miss that opportunity, especially with like stranger kids at the park where we're always like, hey, we had a good time playing with you. I don't know your name or how to get a hold of you again. So these peer-to-peer cards are great to hand out. All your social medias, right? Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, Nextdoor, whatever you're on. Make sure that not only are you posting your events, but that you're integrating into groups and answering questions. So right now, parents are going, what are you doing for the summer? What are you doing for the summer? Does anybody have a good camp? Does anybody have a good class? Does anybody have a good this? I have a kid who's going into kindergarten. How's that school, right? So jump in there and be helpful. School's great. By the way, we're the Cub Scout group that has a lot of kids from that school if you want to join us. Oh, the Cubs have, Boy Scouts has camp. You have to be a Boy Scout, but you could do it. There's a day camp and a this camp and a that camp. So make sure that you're kind of jumping in there and really answering it. That one-to-one interaction is always a lot easier than just a broadcast of like, hey, we're doing a fun event. And promote the recruiter badge among your scouts. Sometimes they get competitive, right, for another badge. So tell them if you bring somebody in and they sign up for scouts, you get to wear this on your uniform forever. So that's always a fun one too. Leverage your own schedule, right? You were going to do it anyway, so why not get some exposure while you're doing it? So if you are going to a preschool graduation, now is a great time to talk about Lions. If you are going to a middle school or a high school graduation, right, you can talk about all these different programs. Back to school night, they'll be coming up in the fall. Those are great times to advertise. Teacher meetings, school email. It used to be really hard for some of us, especially in public schools, to get an email flyer out to people. But Long Beach Unified now uses Peach Jar. You just got to pay them $25 and they'll pump it to your school. So that's easier, much easier to get in. Obviously, if you're doing church or community groups, all your kid activities, right? And people forget about all the stuff they're doing during the summer, tutoring and sports and dance and clubs and day camps. So make sure you're either handing out those peer-to-peer cards or tell your group, hey, we're going to go see somebody in the baseball playoffs. Let's all wear our pack shirts or whatever it might be. And, work your way in by positioning yourself as an asset opposed to an advertiser. So I went to our preschool and I was like, look, I know parents are freaking out about kindergarten and trying to make friends ahead of time. We'd love to invite you to all of our summer activities so you could check it out and they could join this little Lion group. And it's such a great way to meet families. I go to teachers and I say, I'm sure people are always asking you about Scouts. I'm sure they're always asking you. So you can go ahead and just give me a call if anybody has a question. And always, volunteer to help out when you're doing that. Wear your uniform, hand out those peer-to-peer cards, set up a table or an activity. Back to school night's a great chance to do that. Ask to put up, yard signs. And if they won't let you do that, just write all over your car and park right in the front. That's always a good way to do it. And whenever you can, send your kid in uniform or their pack shirt, right? And put some peer-to-peer cards in their back pocket. So when they show up, or you can get one of these Ask Me About Joining Cub Scout shirts or Boy Scout shirts on Amazon. So those are also handy too. And for the summer, remember, keep it simple, keep it fun. Don't stress out about Scout requirements. Just have some fun. You want to get them in. So we're also working with, trying to keep outdoors and keep spaced. So things like beach bonfires, or ice cream socials that aren't really ice cream socials. They're more like prepackaged popsicle socials, but you get the idea, right? Bike rides, going fishing on the pier, just hitting up a playground for the day. That's all you got to do is roll into the playground and everybody has the same shirt on, right? Library story times, beach cleanups, hikes, baseball games, museum trips, kite flying, especially at the cub level, it's so easy to do something simple. On the older kid side, if you were already going to do something, just invite people to come with you. And for those who aren't comfortable being in groups, because there are still parents who don't want to meet in person, especially on the cub side, Scout Link has a server for Minecraft. So it's very easy to do a Scout themed Minecraft couple of hours.
Yeah.
I
really liked it. I thought it was fun.
Oh, yeah.
I like the game where you get to defend against the zombies.
Oh, thank you, sir. All
Anything
right.
with zombies is great.
Anything with zombies. Use some events that others have already planned so you don't have to plan them. There's a ton of cleanups and volunteer things happening in Long Beach, so you can always jump on one of those. Set a plan, follow up. This is pretty cool. There's a fillable membership plan online, so you can just sort of go in there and follow the step-by-steps. I love always having a new family cheat sheet, and I put it in Excel because I cannot remember who was so-and-so's friend or who thought they were going to come, but then they had to travel in July or whatever it might be. So I always, throw in a little cheat sheet with names and notes. People are especially impressed when you walk in. You're like, how was your trip to so-and-so? And how's your little daughter who just turned 11 months? And they're like, oh. So
how did you remember that?
Yeah, how did I remember that? So it immediately makes them feel welcome. And it also makes you feel a little bit like a superstar for having all that. I love pre-writing all of our event invites and our follow-up emails once. So I sit down at the beginning of the summer and just pre-write them. And then I don't have to screw around with it. If somebody comes to something, I just copy paste it out the door. You can use the mail merge so that they're a little bit more personalized. Especially if they do decide they want to join up and you want to tell them about a specific den or a specific patrol. And then pre-schedule your new parent info and orientation so they know what's coming up. And there are some downloadable pieces for that at this link so that you don't have to recreate the wheel. You can literally just plop in your information. Yes, Kelly, I do have a degree in marketing.
That is a lot of
I got
great information. Oh my gosh, I even learned a few things that I can use. I love pre-writing information too, so that I can pass it on to each person as they come in and ask for this, ask for information. So, and Mark, I believe that we are always able to post our slides online afterwards, so you can click on those resources that Jennifer just mentioned. Okay, so don't worry about trying to scribble that down real quick.
Yeah, and Eric, I was just going to say exactly that. Jen, did you want to say anything about these videos real quick? Or
Oh, well, wow, I can't spell. Okay, so I got a degree in marketing, but not spelling. So there's resources links here. So there are all kinds of things. Mark did I'm assuming it was you, Mark, you might have been somebody else, did a fantastic job putting together just one page with links to everything that you could ever want. I just kind of called some of these out. So there's the resources page where you can find everything. There's a specific Cub Scout resources link. There's also a Boy Scout version. And there's a video on how to get parents involved, which is the next hurdle, right? Once you've got them signed up, then it's like, I need more volunteers. So you might as well just go ahead and pre-plan to watch that one. And then other pack recommendations. If you guys have people who are interested in joining your packs or your troops or whatnot, and for whatever reason, your meeting times don't work, your meeting locations don't work, please drive them to the join page. A lot of parents assume that like you're assigned to a group. Like based on where I live, I must join this pack or troop. And that's not the case, right? They can bounce over if they're like, Friday nights don't work for us, but Mondays would be great. So please, especially if your parents are coming to you and they're interested and they go, oh, that meeting time doesn't work. Don't just go, oh, well, just be like, well, wait, there's another group for you, even if it's not with me. So I've run into a number of parents who are like, oh, then we're out. And you're like, no, there's so many more options. So make sure that you're posting that.
That's a very good point. They may get discouraged if they can't